And so now that we've seen how to query data, as I've said earlier, querying can be thought of as, my little anecdote is just going to the bakery and peering through the glass, you're peering in and trying to focus in on something. But once you've queried the data, or once you've successfully narrowed down to the entities you want, you can download the query results by calling fetch on it. So a query is a search, and then a fetch is a download. So fetching allows you to use the data. And so DataJoint, so you would use the same query syntax, and then you call .fetch. So let's say we want all male mice in the mouse table. So this is familiar to us now. So we get all our male mice, and now let's fetch it. So we put a .fetch. And we can see that DataJoint gives us an array, and it also tells us the data type of an array. Yeah, so since we have multiple entries, it gives us an array of a list of tuples, and it gives us the data type for each element of that tuple. Or we can do this all in one step. Awesome. Excellent. So here, again, we wanted all the male mice inside the mouse table, and you just fetch it. You can also fetch as a list of dictionaries. So you can specify that as a method inside the fetch, as an argument inside the fetch method. Or for our pandas lovers, you can even fetch and format as a data frame. Excellent. So you see here that it's been formatted as a list of dictionaries. Here it's formatted as a pandas data frame, but the default is to return as an array. So we can fetch specific fields. So let's say we wanted sex and date of birth. We could call a fetch, and yes, so we see that we just got sex. Yes, and then we could even join them and make them into a list of dictionaries. Excellent. And another, in the same way that DataJoint has the .insert1 and the .insert method, we also have the fetch and the fetch1. So when you know that there's only one result to be fetched back, or sometimes you simply just want one, you can use the .fetch1. And .fetch1 will always return the fetched result in a dictionary format. So let's say we wanted just mouse 0. We know that we just want one mouse. So we'll use our query mouse inside the mouse table, give us mouse 0, and just fetch 1. And we see that we get back mouse 0 with his date of birth and sex. And the fetch 1 can also fetch just the primary key. And this is really powerful, and we'll see it being used a bit later. So you can, again, it's the same query, but this time we're telling the fetch to just return the primary key. And as we've said earlier, primary key is composed of all the primary attributes in the table. So for our mouse table, we just have one primary attribute, so that's our primary key. And of course, you can fetch .fetch1 specific fields. All right, awesome. So it's telling us that for mouse 0, the sex is female and the date of birth was May 21st. Excellent. So now